Can we set a goal such as forgetting a traumatic experience? In terms of forgetting a traumatic experience, I'm going to reinterpret, so tell me if I've got this wrong. I'm going to frame that as no longer being controlled or affected by a past traumatic experience. If you know something, you can't just unknow it. You can't choose to forget something. You can repress a memory, but repression refers to it being done subconsciously. And if you try to force yourself to forget something, then any regular, repeated suppression of the mind is harmful. So what you want to be able to do is to know the full story of your life. To know it in the same way that, when you read a novel, you've got 600 pages you've just read, but you know the whole thing. Same thing with the story of your own life. You want to know everything that happened, but you don't want it to be able to trigger you into involvement, thought capture, a post-traumatic response. So memory is not the problem. The problem is not having enough objectivity or enough cognitive distance from it to be able to relate to it properly. So that's just my reinterpretation of what you had said. One thing you can do is to look for a way that traumatic experience expresses itself today. One of my clients has talked about this. He was talking about the chaos that he grew up in, and the way that it affects him now is that he shuts himself off and retreats that at a sort of a slight sign of chaos or disorder. What most of us might call ordinary, average household disorder, people's minds and intellects banging together and that kind of thing, what we'd call normal interaction. He is sensitized to it, and to him it acts as a trigger, and he shuts himself off. He closes off and physically retreats. So the question is, what's something you'd like to do more? Okay, well, he might say, I'd like to engage with the disorder in my house. Rather than closing off emotionally, cognitively, and physically retreating, I want to engage with disorder. That might be his do. So what you're looking for is a way that the trauma response expresses as choices, as behavior. Now, when we say choice, I'm not just referring to conscious choice, I'm choosing to do this. I'm also talking about, and this is especially true when it comes to traumatic response, I'm talking about those automatic choices that the mind and intellect makes over which you have very little control.